1630 KCJJ. It's 73 degrees at our studios.
And it is Wednesday. It's the noon hour. That means it is Senior Talk, which is brought to you by the Solon American Legion. And here's your host, Rex Brandstatter.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Tommy, for what a warm and unnice day introduction here today, folks. It's the middle of August. It feels like maybe the middle of April out there, but it is what it is. At least we're lucky to be on planet Earth, hopefully, and away we go today. So welcome to Senior Talk, the weekly radio program for those who hope to be a senior someday if they're not now, and for all of those of you who have attained the senior level, which in my book is age 60 and over. That's what I define as a senior. So if you've made that milestone, you are an official senior in my book. Well, thank you for listening to Senior Talk and taking some valuable time out of your busy day to maybe learn some things and pick up on some things that might be of help to you, someone in your family, maybe some of your friends, maybe the guys down at the coffee shop or some of the ladies that's your lady groups to get together and things like that. That's what Senior Talk is all about, and we do our very best to bring some things to you. You might hear something that really, really picks up on. You can give me a call on my senior line, which is 319-330-5534. Feel free to call me and ask me more questions to expand on some things, and I'll be happy to do that. So why don't we do this? Why don't you grab yourself a sandwich and a nice cold root beer and see what we can cook up here today on Senior Talk. Well, folks, my name is Rex Brandstatter, and I'm 75 years old, and I have been a licensed Iowa real estate broker since 1974. And I work mainly with seniors and senior families. I work with executives of estates, administrators. I work with trust departments of the banks. Attorneys call me, CPAs call me to help them help you possibly make a change in your living style. Maybe because age, which is part of the deal, folks. Remember, my motto is your house didn't change, you did. And your house is your house, and you changed. All of a sudden, you can't go up and down the steps. The washer dryer in the basement is no longer handy, and you better not be going down those steps as your family. And for sure, we all kind of know that. But we just are hard to admit it, that's for sure. Well, listen, several senior friends have been to the Iowa State Fair this week already, and they absolutely had a great time. Now, the weather's been a little different over there than here. They had rain a couple of days over there. It knocked the crowd down a little bit, but it's still the Iowa State Fair. So if you're going, go to it and have a good time while you're there. And you should realize that it's only 2 weeks and 3 days until the first Iowa football game, which throws the whole town and the university into total frenzy. And so that's right around the corner, just 2 weeks and 3 days away. And I'm right in there with the craziness that still goes on. So looking forward to it myself. So if you park near the north end zone area over there, or over by the baseball diamond or Carver Arena, you might want to take a drive over there. Huge construction plans, and they're going to shuffle some of those parking. So just go with the knowledge that your spot may or may not be there. You might want to take a drive over. I really think you should do that. Well, it's the perfect day outside to have a couple of guests here on Senior Talk. So it's time to turn up the volume and pay attention to the senior information that they bring to us. And as you know, we don't often have guests, so a pretty special guest here today. I'm going to introduce to you a friend of mine, Jeff Kalbach, and a new friend of mine, Jennifer Jones. So, Jeff, at this point, I'd like to have you introduce yourself professionally and a little personally, and what you do for the seniors in Johnson County. Jeff Kalbach.
Thanks, Rex, for having me. Yes, Jeff Kalbach. I'm an aging specialist with Johnson County Social Services. I help a lot of older adults and caregivers of older adults try to figure out resources, options available to their situation, and how to remove the barriers that can get in the way of accessing those resources that they may very well need. I don't know, personally, I've lived in the Iowa City area, graduated from the University of Iowa. I've lived here for, well, that's a long time now.
Sure.
Let's call this home. Live in North Liberty right now, though.
Sure. Well, tell us a little bit about your job and some of the things that you offer, the programs you offer for seniors. I'm sure many people have never heard of even your position.
Sure. Yeah, the position was created about a little over 6 years ago by the county. They saw the need. Obviously, we have a huge influx of older adults. The baby boomers are hitting that retirement age, and some of those folks are needing services. So some of the things that I offer, I do a lot of help with lower income individuals in particular, helping them access programs like Medicaid, SNAP, the food assistance program. Right now, I'm actually handing out farmers market nutrition program checks. So there's $50 worth of checks for individuals that are eligible. Have to be over age 60, and I don't remember the exact dollar amount that you need to qualify, but I believe it is around $25,000 and change. I can certainly, anybody who's interested can give me a call at 319-688-5842, and I'd be happy to see if they'd be eligible for that or other programs. I hope a lot of people sign up for the low-income home energy assistance program, LIHEAP. That will come up October 1st for older adults, and then any other lower-income individuals will start up November 1st. Also help out people, renters, with Iowa rent reimbursement for those that are eligible. There's different qualifications there, and you know what? If somebody is kind of struggling with whatever they're struggling with, I say I could be a really good place to start with for Johnson County residents. Doesn't matter where you live in the county, but be able to help you out and try and figure out what resources are available. It could be transportation issues that somebody's dealing with. Trying to figure out home care options or assisted living if they're needing that, nursing home. Just trying to figure out what are some possible options for my situation.
Interesting. I have a lot of seniors who I talk with, and they're always looking for a ride somewhere. Do you have anything with you share rides or vouchers for rides or taxi cabs or anything like that?
Well, the public buses are free. So if somebody's needing some more assistance, there's the SEATS program, the paratransit program that people can sign up for. If they're in Iowa City, we would apply through the City of Iowa City Transit Office. If they're in Coralville or North Liberty, we apply through the Coralville Transit Office to see if they're eligible. Anybody outside of those areas would be automatically eligible for SEATS because they also do rural transportation. They also have a same-day SEATS program that's funded through ARPA funds. So there's some different programs, and there's definitely some, there's programs like Trail of Johnson County.
Yeah,
Trail
sure.
is a membership-based organization, but one of the biggest volunteer requests is rides.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then, medical transportation. United Way of Johnson and Washington counties has their RSVP program where they have medical transportation. So, once again, individuals that are trying to get rides, they have volunteers that can pick them up if they can get into a regular vehicle.
Wow.
And take them to and from their medical appointments. So there's a lot of different things out there.
I can speak from personal experience. I have in my wallet at the present time in Coralville, this is only for Coralville, if you're 65 and older, you can get a senior ride pass. So I have a free senior ride pass, and I ride the bus quite often. I ride downtown and walk around downtown, the university building, and walk back. So if that's for, I don't need a free bus ride, but I have this program, and I have, so I signed up for it. And I see a lot of seniors on there, but I also know a lot of people when I tell them that, they go, I had no idea. Now, I'm going to guess maybe Iowa City has a program like that. I don't know that, but I bet they do.
Yeah, Iowa City, actually, all buses are free. So there's
I
no
heard
cost.
about that, yeah.
Yeah, so, and if people are, just not sure how to ride the bus, Social Services has a mobility coordinator. Kelly Schneider helps a lot of people with trying to do, rides, figuring out how to utilize the bus even. What are the routes? So trip planning is a big thing that she does.
Anybody who can read a bus schedule would be a math professor at the University of Iowa, in my opinion. Have you looked at a bus schedule? I can't figure. I stand there till the bus comes by.
There's some really cool apps out there that can help out
Sure.
with it, and even Google now.
Sure.
If you do Google Maps, they have if you select in bus, I think it can make it a lot. It can make it a lot easier to try
Wow.
and navigate it now. The technology is a little bit scary, and for some folks, for some of our older adults, they may not have a real comfort or even have that technology available to them to really do that.
Sure.
But so that is really where that mobility coordinator can really come out and help them figure out how to do the trip planning for where are the places that they're needing to get
Helping
to.
hand. Wow.
Yeah.
And you folks work for Johnson County, so you're supported by the Texas, so you're.
Yeah, so it's a service that's free and available to all Johnson County residents. So, yeah.
All right. Well, let's let Jeff take a break, and let's introduce to you Jennifer Jones. And Jennifer just bounced in the door here when I did here at the studios. And Jennifer, welcome to Senior Talk. Tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do and how you play into the lives of seniors.
Well, thank you, Rex. It's so nice to be here. And I have to tell you that, Jeff was one of my aging buddies. I just love hanging out with him and learning from him and always finding out what great resources are in our area. So yeah, my name is Jen Jones. Please call me Jen if you meet me. And I am the program coordinator for our Optimal Aging Initiative. I work at a center called the Some Center for Gerontological Excellence at the University of Iowa. We're housed in the College of Nursing. We have a long history with the College of Nursing. And you know what? We serve as a resource hub. Obviously, we're at the University of Iowa, so we have this vested interest in research and education and practice surrounding older adults, right? We want to see those improve. We want to see the newest innovations. We want to be able to utilize that scientific research to make education better for our clinicians, for our nurses. And then we develop the best practices, right? Because what it really should come down to, if we are an older adult, is that we're receiving the care we want, what matters to us, and does it improve our quality of life? So this Optimal Aging Initiative came along about a year and a half ago. It's actually funded through a couple who had this vision of how do we help older adults in Iowa find those resources and find the support they need, because we hear that all the time, that I have this problem. And like you said about transportation, we just don't always know that that resource is available. It may be out there, but until you need that resource, you're not really paying attention to what's out there for me, right?
It's as simple as a city bus going by in some cases. Yeah.
Exactly. So we love to think of ourselves, we kind of have this twofold picture, right? Yes, we have this academic focus with research, education, and practice. And by the way, shout out to the College of Nursing, because we're one of the few colleges of nursing that requires our nursing students to do a gerontological clinic. Who are they going to be treating? I tell the nursing students when I get to see them, I'm going to be your patient in 10 years, and I want you to do a good job, because I'm going to be that person. We need that face, right? That reminder. But then about this community engagement part that really this Optimal Aging Initiative has allowed me to do is to go out into the community, find out who is doing what, who is providing a resource, and can we then partner with another community organization? Does this resource know about the Jeff Kelbachs of the world? Do we know about who else is out there? Could we bring in a researcher? Okay, these researchers are experts in their field. Can we ask them to come in and provide an education that just Jen, I'm not academic, I'm not a clinician. I want you to speak to me just as to who I am, but provide me with that education. Tell me what's new and coming up in the world of whatever it is, whatever these issues of aging might be, so that I'm better educated, so that I can walk into my doctor's appointment and have a better conversation with them about what impacts my care and how to impact my quality of life. Can we offer education to one another about all these different resources? And one of the best things that's happened with this Optimal Aging Initiative is that I get to go out and I meet the Jeff Kelbachs, and Jeff does X, Y, and Z. And then I get to meet Rex, and oh my gosh, Rex does X, Y, and Z. Jeff, Rex, do you guys know one another? Because what you're doing could really benefit, or, we make that partnership. And that what we find is that a lot of people are doing really good things in the world of aging, providing great resources, but we don't know one another exists.
Interact. Wonderful explanation of that.
Networking. Yeah. Can we help you network?
At one time years ago, because of Senior Talk, I was invited. And when you said something there, kind of tripped my memory here. People might listening to you today talk about maybe interact with groups and where they could meet. A church called me. Two churches actually called me, and I went and talked about planning for your will, advanced directives they're called, your will. I talked to two church groups, or maybe there was Wednesday night groups. I think one was the adult Sunday school before service, like that, and had really, I was kind of astounded, had huge crowds. People want to listen. That would be a wonderful vestige for either one of you. Maybe you've done that. I don't know. But I think churches were a natural, it's kind of a Switzerland-like gathering place where, and everybody's just listening. They don't have to admit while they're there we need to find out about how to make out a will or what get the bus. Or wow, that's a huge thing. So that might be, folks, you're listening, that might be a thing that maybe you could get a hold of me and I could get a hold of one of these folks or both of them and come to your church group or maybe a different group that you belong to. Maybe they come and I'm sure you've been on the service club circuits and things like that. Have you know?
Absolutely, I love doing a
there you
Some-May coffee talk, and I know Jeff will talk to anyone
I
too.
I just spoke at one a couple weeks ago, as a matter of fact. All right, Jeff, you've had some time to recoup over there. Tell me about your average day. What phone rings and who's at the other end?
Generally, I mean, it can be both older adults. It can be adult children that are trying to help out a family member. It's not unusual to have some long distance calls, where people are not in the area, needing to figure out what resources exist for mom or dad. And it can be just, the older adult themselves is just struggling with things and just simply says, hey, what do I do? Where do I go? And I think, and just having discussions with people, they may tell me what they're looking for. And what I try and do for folks is really figure out what else could help them.
Sort of beat it out of them, what they need, yeah.
Well, that's it. Oftentimes that generation can be a little modest, maybe not, kind of reluctant to get help, and kind of that mentality.
That's normal. That's normal.
It is.
It's stoic. Yeah, there's stoicism about that, and I don't want to ask for help, which is why we're doing what we're doing.
It is why we're doing what we're doing.
Why I'm here.
Yeah, I mean, we want to make sure that if there's ways that we can help people stay independent, stay active, and generally they want to stay at home as long as possible, and we want to help them with that mission. So I mean, that's one of the reasons that we're doing the event that we're going to be talking about here as well.
Yeah, and a matter of fact, I wanted to get into that. Who wants to tell us about the event?
Well, I don't know. We can flip a coin.
We can. Well, we'll tag team off of that.
All right, have at it.
Yeah.
Listen up, folks. This is fun.
Yeah. 2024 Healthy Aging Fair, brought to you by a whole list of people.
It is the Some-May Center, Gerontological. Oh boy, I shouldn't have done this one. Center for Gerontological Excellence.
Good job. I knew you could do it.
I should have had you do that part. Iowa Healthcare is going to be hosting this event via Caregiver Support Program, the Trail of Johnson County, the Iowa City Senior Center where we're holding the event, Heritage Area Agency on Aging, and Johnson County Livable Communities. So we have an awesome planning committee that's been working on this for several months.
And they'll all bring things in that seniors have questions about. They're all going to be sitting in a room behind a table and come and see us so you can ask questions.
Yeah.
And meet those people that you maybe I was thinking about this when you were talking earlier about that resource. Sometimes you don't know what you need until you trip over it, or Jeff says something to you and you're like, oh my gosh, that's the resource I need. Sometimes we need those prompts because we haven't walked this journey before. So this is a great opportunity. We do have some kind of specific scheduled events too. So from 9 to 10, we're going to have a Dementia Friends session, which is going to be terrific. The two leaders on that are just spectacular. 10 to 10:45 a.m., this is a new one. The Laughter Club, or Laugh Through Yoga. I'm going to read the description on this because people kind of look at you cross-eyed like, what is laughter yoga? So laughter helps to relieve the effects of stress. It is energizing, healing, and brings out our best self. When we laugh together, we feel lighter and renewed. Come and experience the Laughter Club. And I will say, I got pulled into one of those classes because I was kind of a doubter, and it was fantastic. First of all, it was a great core workout. Laughing is fantastic. It was intergenerational. But the leader of this, Michelle from the Iowa City Senior Center, is just fantastic. 10:15 to 11 a.m., the VA hospital is sending over someone to talk about nutrition and for older adults. We need to look at food a little differently than we do. You look at toddlers and they need certain calories. You look at middle-aged people, athletes, whatever it might be. Older adults also need to really think about the nutrition and the caloric intake that they have. And then from 11
or lack thereof. A lot of seniors. My mother, for example, she lived to be 91, 92, and my brother and I will go down and take inventory of her refrigerator, folks, and it wasn't pretty because half a bottle of ketchup and a sandwich that she picked up a week ago. And you don't forget to eat. It's too much work to eat. I don't want to fix a sandwich. They go to the grocery store and say, I have to buy a dozen eggs instead of I have to buy a whole loaf of bread instead of 6 slices, so there's some marketing that could happen. But I totally agree with that observation.
Yeah. And I think it's about, we recognize that we need to eat food, but as we're older, are we really eating nutritionally dense calories? Are we eating the right thing? So I think this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for people to hear from the VA. And then at 11:15 to 12, we have a Tai Chi demonstration. Brian Bruner is one of our friends from the Heritage Area Agency on Aging. And, that's about balance, and it's about your proprioception, like where you are in space. We know that falls can be devastating to older adults. So let's build some strength. Let's build some balance, some flexibility. And, all of these are free to participate in. So come join us.
Wow. And if you think that through, this is down at the Senior Center, downtown Iowa City, which is in what building?
It's so the Senior Center is at 28 South Lynn Street in Iowa City. And the event's going to be from 9 a.m. to noon on August 22nd, so next Thursday. We do have free parking, so there's the first hour's free in the Tower Place parking ramp that's actually connected by a skywalk to the Senior Center. So you can literally walk across the skywalk and enter in the building that way, or you can come around the main entrance on Washington Street.
Sure.
So like I said, first hour's free in the parking ramp, and then we have vouchers as well. So if people are there for 2 hours, 3 hours, want to be there for the full event, they can get vouchers to cover them for that.
You could take a free bus from Corville. You could take a free bus from Iowa City. You could maybe get a ride if you live in the hills or Solon or somewhere like that and get there and partake of all. That's the old, for you seniors been around town for a long time. That's the old Iowa City post office downtown.
It's beautiful.
That's where the senior. That's the old. I deal with seniors here. We have to go back. So that's the old Iowa City post office, which is a remarkable. It was the post office when I was a kid. It was a great place, and now it's a useful thing for a new use, which of course is the senior center. So great. This sounds like fun. It sounds like there are some things there that people. I don't know what's going to be there, but why don't you just take a chance, ladies and gentlemen? Go down and I guarantee you, I've just picked up a couple of things here myself that I want to talk about someday, and they're going to be there, and that's next Thursday already.
Yes, and we're doing that. I think it's important to point out right before that last big rush of students comes into town. I know sometimes, we've talked a lot about transportation this morning or this afternoon, and you'll be able to get to the senior center. I know there's some construction, but we're making it accessible. And that's part of the reason we chose the senior center also. They do such phenomenal classes for older adults. If I didn't have to work, I would be going to classes at the senior center because I'm old enough to go. So. Sure. But just know that we're doing this right before that last major rush of students gets into town. So maneuvering downtown will be okay, and there are those bus options.
Do families come down with so if we'll say Mrs. Smith, or I'm going to just say grandma comes down, can their daughter bring them down or the son bring them down?
Absolutely. We encourage everybody to come out there because, this doesn't have to be just for individuals who are needing something right now. This can be for individuals who are just kind of looking to see what is out there, because I think, like Jen said, you might be surprised. I mean, we're going to have 60 community resources out there at this event as well. So this is a huge resource. How many? 60.
Oh.
We're filling the place. We're going to be on multiple levels of the senior center.
This would be like a senior fair, so to speak.
Absolutely.
A senior services fair, so to speak. Is that what I'm thinking about?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to have, there'll be your independent living, assisted living, memory care, nursing homes, in-home care providers, the medical, non-medical providers.
Those people who can go in and help you with an assessment. Because a lot of people, we've talked about this earlier, want to stay in their home, but we've got to talk about the safety factor, right? So I know we have a couple of organizations who will be there, and this is what they do. They can come in, be that third party removed. It's not the son, it's not the daughter. Have that healthy conversation with mom or dad or whomever the older adult is about the safty factor of staying in their home.
If you are listening today and that is your mom and dad or your grandma and grandpa or your Uncle Bob, he won't listen to you, they won't listen to you about moving the end table so they don't have to go around and trip over
and the throw rugs.
That's just where I was going to throw rugs in the drop course. Folks, they have an independent third party come out and do an assessment for free. And do that. This, ladies and gentlemen, these things are all available right here in town. This is like a slam dunk. This is really the place to be.
Yeah, I can't tell you how. I mean, we have just so many different resources.
I plan to be there. I'll check my schedule. I plan to come down and do that.
I mean, even, we have an individual from the University of Iowa that's going to be out there doing driver safety. It's this reaction time.
Not taking your driver's licenses, folks.
No. But sometimes people wonder, am I safe? This is just merely a reaction testing thing that can help people kind of, evaluate. And maybe, if they are finding that they're a little bit slow with the reaction time, well, what can be done to help fix that so that we're not having to take the license away? We don't want to take away, this whole program, this whole thing, the event that we're doing isn't about taking away independence. It's about trying to help people do
actually
things.
help provide and help
give that independence.
It's
Exactly.
the opposite.
Absolutely. And I think, you asked Jeff earlier kind of what his day looks like. And, I think a day in the Some Center is that who did I meet last week and who have I met prior to that? So how can I match them? But one of the fun things I get to do at my table, someone comes to me and says, okay, here's where I'm at with mom or dad or my loved one or this person I'm trying to help. And I can say to them, oh my gosh, you need to go see these next 3 tables because they can help you with X, Y, Z.
As long as you're here, go see that table right there.
Absolutely. Like they can really specifically help you with this issue of aging. And I will say too, one of the things we're really proud of at the Some Center, and we kind of haven't touched on that, is about caregiving. I know when I first met Jeff that was something we had a really healthy conversation about, that we're in this stage, I'm an adult child. I have parents. I've got a mom in a nursing home and an older dad. And so I'm watching him be a primary caregiver. I'm sort of kind of this caregiver now to dad. And where's that support? We talk about that. We've actually started an adult child caregiver support group at the Some Center. Oh. There are so many opportunities for caregiver support. It's a huge part of our Optimal Aging initiative. It was something that those donors really were focusing on. Access to resources and support of that caregiver. So if you're in that situation, which 330,000 unpaid caregivers are in the state of Iowa.
That's correct.
From AARP stats, you are probably going to be a caregiver if you are not already. So you can come down. Even if you're not an older adult, if you're in that caregiver role, come down and let us help you find the right resource to support you.
You don't know if you're a caregiver. Now, let me ask you some questions. Listeners, senior listeners, friends of ours. If you're helping mom and dad do vacuuming once a week, cleaning the house, if you're running to the grocery store to get food for them, if you're helping them administer their meds, if you're taking their blood pressure that the doctor or so things that you don't really think as caregiving, that's what you're doing. It's the Iowa now has has passed a law that you can get a small tax credit for it. As a matter of fact. For your expenses. I mean, that's not what your number one thing to think about is. But to qualify as a caregiver, it doesn't take much to be in the be classified as a caregiver. And there will be people there that maybe you could talk to and maybe assimilate into some of their ideas. I think this is a wonderful thing you're putting together. And who's sponsoring this?
And that was the list that Jeff gave earlier. There's just such a variety. It's like this variety pack of the people who are doing work in the older adult realm in this area. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, we're, like I said, these partners that we have that are planning this event. I mean, the Iowa City Senior Center is, providing the space for this event.
Sure.
So, I mean, this is a free event to come out to. We do this in a very inexpensive way, so that there isn't going to be a cost to anybody ever.
Do you think there will be I'm going to call it a vendor, just for lack of a better word, or people down there talking about maybe help them with some ideas on planning a will or an estate or anything like that?
I believe Trail actually has someone who talks about that. And I believe the last time we had a Healthy Aging Fair, Trail had that information at their table.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Wow.
I mean, there is going to be, I know the Senior Center has some of their resources available, so they have advanced care planning that they do as well. The SHIP program will be out there. So,
sure.
We're getting close to the time to start, looking at our 2025 plans. I mean, open enrollment isn't until mid-October, but it's never too early to start thinking
Jeff
about
mentioned the SHIP program. I know it is. Tell folks what the SHIP program
Sure.
is.
SHIP is the Senior Health Insurance and Information Program. It's a state-run program, so they're volunteers that are trained by the state on all the different Medicare plans. And, these are folks that they're not selling you anything. They don't get a kickback out of this. They're really trying to match up, based on medications you're taking, doctors you're seeing.
Wow.
What is the best, what's the best plans for you, or what are the best options for you? You don't have to take that person's, advice.
So we've talked many, many times here on Senior Talk. I tell people that when you watch cable TV, or they're always trying to sell you insurance plans in Medicare, Medicaid, not Medicaid, but Medicare plans like that. And they always have a talking head. They have Joe Namath or these guys in places like that. They're just daring to telling you this is the greatest thing ever. And I say, please don't listen to them. Call your local insurance people, your man or lady rep on that, and get to speaking with them. This would be a wonderful place to go find out. When you're going to be 65 years old, starting about 6 months before that, you will be bombarded by mail at your house. See our plan, see this plan. They're trying to say the gap insurance, because Medicare, which you can get on, actually you can start when you're 60, I think, Medicaid, but Medicare starts when you're 65. And you've heard about people talk about Part A and Part B and Part D. That's what you could learn down there, I assume.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, they can go through all of that, the supplemental plans. Whatever somebody is looking for, they can help try and guide them through those options. Because every year, you're looking at different plans. Now, I don't believe that information is out quite yet about the 2025 plans.
Sure.
But it's a nice chance to be able to talk with somebody from SHIP, figure out how this works. Because I know... they'll have appointments open. They'll do them in person. They'll do them at the Senior Center. They'll do them at Mercer Aquatic Center. They'll do them at the North Liberty Library. They'll do them by phone. They'll do them by Zoom. It's pretty convenient to find a way to work with them depending on what your needs are. And I mean, it's a really good program, though. Really
so the university is totally immersed in this program too, in your profession. I mean, for your job.
For the SOME Center, yes, this is what we do. We are an aging center of excellence. We're the only one in the state of Iowa, actually. We have a great partnership with the University of Northern Iowa and Iowa State University, but we're the only center for aging in the state of Iowa. And I want to say, this is about education, preventative measures, right? For either, is it a safety assessment at home? Is it planning? Is it doing the right documents, having them filled out? Is it having that healthy conversation with those around you so that your loved ones know your wishes when the day comes? Because we are really lucky to get to age, but we all know how the story ends. Let's be honest about that. And I want to encourage people, because I've seen this happen before, and I don't know so much about Jeff, but I've been at other fairs, wellness events, caregiver events, and I'll have a table and I'm like, I'm the nicest person I know. I want to talk to everyone, right? I could talk the bark off of a tree. I just want to talk to you. But people are, I think, intimidated sometimes to step up to the table, or they're hesitant. Step up. We're all going to have something to hand to you, and maybe it is important to you right now. Maybe it becomes important to you in a year and a half. Maybe you didn't know it was important to you until you read through it at home. And I think resources are also, it's kind of like trying on shoes. You can try on 10 pairs of shoes and whatever. 2 are like, there's no way, 6 are kind of like so-so, but there are 2 that you're like, yeah, this is what works for me. So don't be afraid to ask questions of these people. This is why they're here. They're really good at providing the resources they provide. So step up to the table, say hi, ask us what we do.
That's an open invitation, folks, to go see these folks.
Just come say hi.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. They're played right into Senior Talk's hands, and the reason why we had you here today. Unfortunately, many times the people find out the hard way. Mrs. Smith passes away. Mr. Smith has an accident or a heart attack, whatever it might be, whatever the good Lord comes and takes you for whatever his reason, and can't question it. We question it, but can't do anything about it. So if you prepare yourself with many of these things that they're going to offer at this, I'm going to call it Senior Fair, but this is right up your alley, folks. This is right up Senior Talk's alley.
Absolutely. And, I think it started out, this Healthy Aging Fair has some history. Like once upon a time, it was more of a falls prevention, wasn't it, Jeff?
Yeah, we called it a falls prevention health and resource fair, but that ended up being a mouthful.
I remember it.
So last year, we decided to change it to the Healthy Aging Fair. And I think, just trying to really give people the idea that we are doing a lot of the preventative stuff to help people, to hopefully keep people from needing services. or needing to move out of their home. Now, like I said, if we have people that have had, have had a stroke, have had an accident of some kind, and maybe aren't as independent, we can also help with that as well. But the main purpose of this fair, that's why we call it the Healthy Aging Fair, is that we want to keep people healthy. Yeah. We want to keep them independent.
And remind you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm a real estate broker. That's what I do for a living. But I prefer that you go through all the angles of fixing your home so you can stay there. The last resort may be to sell. I mean, maybe you want to move to a different climate. That's probably thought. But if you want, everybody wants to stay in your home. But if you would kind of go visit some of these people and get some of these tips and free assessments. Wow, you came up with some things that would really help you stay there. That's your goal. You like your home. You like your friends. You no longer know the neighbors because they all moved away 25 years ago, but you like your home. You like your setup. You like your end of town. But you've changed. All of a sudden now you can't navigate the steps or whatever it is. So what a great place to have some planning. Wow.
Well, I think so. I mean, I really want to emphasize, that social isolation can really be a thing. We get to our homes, and like you said, Rex, sometimes people move away, people pass away, and we become more and more isolated. And I think coming out to an event like this, seeing a place like the Senior Center as well, and all the wonderful programs that they have there, it is not just bingo. It is so much more.
Amen.
Yeah.
You might even you will run into someone down there.
Yes.
Gertrude, good for you. Well, we came down to find out about this or that. You might find that maybe there's some safety in numbers or some friends that you've forgotten about, kind of in the same boat you are. Maybe you can create a little communication with each other.
Carpool. Find some of those old friends if we want to reach out, see what they're doing, and bring them with
Wow.
you. What a fun event. And I think, that concept of a healthy aging fair, it's beyond just clinical treatment, right? It's about being engaged. It's about lifelong learning. It's about all of these things, all of these components that keep us healthy.
We're all in the aging business, folks. If you're not, if you're not in the aging business, you're not in any business. You're not in any business, folks. That's the bottom line here. But I like the term the healthy aging business, and that takes in takes in nutrition and livability type of issues, and maybe some legal setups for wills and or trusts, whatever you might want to get involved in there. POA, we've talked about powers of attorney here, ladies and gentlemen. If you're at home there and your other, your wife, we'll say, your husband, we'll just say, or whatever setup is there, or a family member, you should be talking powers of attorney so that something happens to you, or the worst case scenario, half happens to you, which is a stroke that you can no longer, you're there, but you can't communicate. Folks, you're out of business as far as the banks are concerned and the legal. So this is a wonderful time, folks. This is a head up out of the sand. Get ready to go. Let's do this. Tell us again. Both of you are wind yourself up here. What are you looking for here on when is it, where is it, and why should they show up?
Sure. The event next Thursday, August 22nd, 9 a.m. to noon.
At the Iowa City Senior Center, 28 Lynn Street.
Right downtown.
Free parking.
Iowa City in the old post office across the street from the old fire station. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for Senior Talk. Wait a minute. Rex never gives up that easy, for God's sakes. You know that. So I'd like to thank Jennifer Jones, and I'd like to thank Jeff Kalbach for being our guest here today. Brings us wonderful, and not only wonderful, but valuable opportunities and information to you. And you can give me a call on my senior line, 330-5534, and I'll tell you even more about, remind you of when it's going to be. Well, get this. It says here that aging is not lost youth. It is a new stage of opportunity. Wow. Aging has a wonderful beauty, and we should have respect to our aging. Isn't that the truth? And finally, hide not your talents. They are made to be used. Even when you're a senior, something's going to come about that maybe you didn't. You read about all the time. Older gentlemen or older ladies, all of a sudden they can paint. They can do all kinds of. They didn't know they had this kind of a latent talent. So we're proud to be a senior. We're going to just keep partying on until we can't party anymore. But in the meantime, I want you to go take advantage of this one event. So Jeff and Jennifer, thank you so much for being part of Senior Talk, and we'll see you next time. So long.
Looking for a place with a fun, casual atmosphere?